Most small businesses don't have a traffic problem, they have a sales problem. People are visiting the website, they're reading the posts, they're watching the videos, but they're not going to the next step. And more often than not, the missing piece isn't tactics, it's story. In this video, I'm going to teach you my exact framework for how you can use story to increase sales. I'm David Koslett, co-founder of Hello Social, and in the last 12 months, we've supported over 100 service-based businesses to help them get better with their marketing, build a plan, and use story to generate better results. So when I talk about story, I mean three things. The first is the hero in the story, okay? The main character, that is your customer. The second thing is the problem that they have, okay? Every customer has a problem. And then the third is the guide in the story, okay? Which is you. You are the guide in the story. You are not the hero. When your marketing and your messaging talks about you as the hero, people switch off, okay? Positioning yourself as the guide means you are likely to increase trust. That level of trust is going to go up because you are seen as the guide in the story. When people hear storytelling, they often think it means being creative or emotional. But in marketing, story isn't about drama, it's about clarity. A good story helps someone understand, is this for me? Do they get my problem? And can they help me solve it? That's what increases conversions. Most small business marketing is built on facts, years of service, qualifications, how long you've been doing it, etc., etc. But the reality is nobody cares. Now, a lot of those facts may be true. They're true to you or true to your business. But the problem is, it doesn't help that person see themselves in a story. So there's a story framework that I'm going to walk you through. And this comes from best-selling author Donald Miller. He's written a book called Building a Story Brand. And what I'm going to do is just talk you through our version of that. So Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller is basically one of the best marketing messaging books you can get your hands on. And I recommend it to all of our clients. It's a really good foundational book to get a good understanding of where you position yourself, how you use the framework. So in the book, there's a 7-step framework, which Donald Miller talks you through. I break it down into 3, so it's easier to understand. You can position the problem, you as the guide, and the outcome in the success. But the 7 steps go into a lot more detail. So I'd highly recommend going to get yourself a copy on Amazon. It's $10. Just go and read the book, consume it. It will change your business. And in turn, your business can then change your life. I'm a massive believer of that just because of how it's affected me. Right, when I started consuming this knowledge and reading books that I could get my hand on about business and about marketing, when you can get good at that, doesn't matter what business you're in, you can start to apply those marketing, advertising, experience and knowledge and skills to other businesses. Hence why we run a social agency. I can apply all of those skills that I've learned and I've read and I've applied to more than one business. So every piece of marketing that you produce should quietly answer these 3 questions. Number 1 is, do they understand my problem? Name it, say it clearly, say it better than they can. Number 2 is, have you helped someone like me before? This is where experience, case studies, and examples matter. Testimonials, proof of concept, proof you've done it before. And number 3, what happens if I take the next step? Reduce uncertainty, talk them through the process and make it feel safe. If you can do that, you position yourself as the guide, sales will go up. Let me give you a simple example. So for those of you that know me, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So if you take Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or any fantasy film, whatever you like, and think about the story arc within that, okay, you've got a main character. In this case, it's Frodo Baggins, right? Who's got a ring he has to destroy. That's the problem, okay? So he needs a guide. The guide in the story is Gandalf, the wizard, who shows him the road. Yeah, in the Fellowship of the Ring, he's the first person that says, I will go with you. So that exact same concept, we then want to apply to a business, okay? Take that fantasy story and that story arc, apply it to your business. So let me give you another example. 2 websites might offer the same service. One lists credentials and services and experience. The other says exactly how they help you. We help specific business solve specific problem so they get desired outcome. Same business, same capability, very different conversion rate. That's the story at work. Our example, most small businesses struggle with marketing, so we give them a plan that they can track, that builds their brand and grows their revenue. So where do you want story to show up? This applies everywhere. We want this on your homepage, on your website. We want this on your LinkedIn, on your social media, places that you're going to Position your business to be seen by an audience. Story isn't a campaign, it's a lens. This is why story sits right at the heart of our Hello Plan. Your message, your tone, your content, your call to action, they all come from understanding your audience story first, not your services. If you want a deep dive into the Hello Plan, I've done a previous video on it, which will walk you through your marketing roadmap for the next 6 months, and it covers all the key points you need to know. And then on the back, it's got a calendar of months, so you can really campaign and plan out what's actually happening when it's happening. The biggest shift for small businesses is this: stop trying to show people that you're good at what you do. Start showing that you understand them. That's what builds trust, and trust is what converts. So when we first started the business, one of the things that I wanted to get clear was a one-liner. So when somebody asks us, what do we actually do? Or what do you do? You know, when you go networking or meet new people, what do you do? What do you say? And this really positions you as the guide. So most people struggle with X. We give you Y so that you end in success. Right? What does that framework look like for your business? That's how you can become the guide, and it makes you relatable. So you know how most small businesses struggle with marketing? Well, we give them a plan that they can track over 12 months, which builds their brand and ultimately grows their revenue. That is a one-liner. That's what is concise and clear, gives somebody new who's never met you before and doesn't understand what you do, within 3 seconds, a really good picture of how you can help. That's what we're looking for. That's how this problem, solution, success framework, in my eyes, really can have a massive impact on your business. If you want help clarifying your message and using story properly, we cover this inside our one-to-one strategy sessions. You'll leave with a clearer message, stronger positioning, and a plan you can actually execute. There's a link below if you want to apply. If this has helped, hit the subscribe button, and in the next video, we're going to be talking through the systems that I use with every client.